Hello everyone! So I'm here with my Women's Prize for Fiction shortlist reading vlog. I am really excited to be doing this again this year because I really enjoyed doing it last year, and there are some picks on this shortlist that I already kind of wanted to read, so I'm very excited to dive in. So first, let's look at the shortlist. So there are 6 books here. And first we have Ruth Ozeki's The Book of Form and Emptiness, which I've already kind of been wanting to read. It looks really interesting. It deals with a boy who and his mother who are kind of dealing with the aftermath of the father's death, and the boy starts hearing voices from objects. So it sounds very interesting. Then we have The Sentence by Louise Erdrich, which I have not put on my TBR, but I've seen it everywhere. It is really, really popular, so I'm hoping, that's for good reason. And this follows an Ojibwe woman who works in a bookstore and is haunted by something, like an actual ghost. So that sounds interesting and fun. Hopefully, we'll see. Then we have The Bread the Devil Need by Lisa Allen Agostini. And this follows Alethea, hopefully, Lopez, who is about to turn 40. She's fashionable, feisty, and fiercely independent, manages a downtown boutique, but behind closed doors, she's covering up bruises from her abusive partner and seeking solace in an affair with her boss. So when she witnesses a woman murdered by a jealous lover, the reality of her own future comes a little too close to home. And this is by a Trinidadian author. Quite honestly, the subject matter does not sound that interesting to me personally, but the cover is very striking and it is quite short. It's under 300 pages, so I'm going to definitely read it for this vlog. And then we have Meg Mason's Sorrow and Bliss, which I don't know too much about. I have not seen it around that much. I know it's about mental health. It follows someone named Martha, who is clever, beautiful, and a brilliant writer. But when she's on the edge of 40 years old, she is friendless, practically jobless, often sad, and was left by her husband. So I think it kind of explores this woman's mental health and maybe has some themes about being an overachiever and burning out later in life, which is definitely relatable. And then we have Elif Shafak's Island of Missing Trees, which sounds super interesting to me. I have not heard of this book before, but it sounds like something I would really like. It's historical fiction about the conflict that happened in the 70s on the island of Cyprus, and I am super interested in learning more about that subject, so I'm thinking that's going to be probably one of the ones I pick up first. And then we have Maggie Shipstade's Great Circle, which was actually already on my TBR since it came out. I've really been wanting to read this, and this is another historical fiction. It's really long though, so we'll see. It follows a woman in America who wants to become an airplane pilot at a time when women really did not do that, and she gets lost in the Arctic. It sounds really interesting. I'm very interested in, women subverting gender stereotypes in history, so that's why it was already on my TBR. So I'm thinking this is the book I'm going to start with. So sit back, relax, and listen to me read all of these books on the shortlist. Hello, I'm here with my Squishmallow and an update on Great Circle. I'm 50% of the way through. I really hate it, which is really surprising because I thought that this book was going to be the one that I liked the most. Like, I had wanted to read this book before I even knew it was on the Women's Prize list. So I am really surprised that I hate it so much. It is way too long. I don't know what the editor was thinking, but there are entire chapters that could just be removed that absolutely have no bearing on the story or make any sense even. Also, there is a dual timeline, which I did not like. There is a modern day Hollywood timeline about an actress making a movie about this aviator named Marion, and then there is Marion's actual story, which is the historical fiction part. I really don't like the Hollywood storyline at all. I think it would have been a much stronger story had they just made it purely historical fiction and not had any connection to modern day at all. It's just annoying, and honestly I've been skipping those chapters because it just makes me really angry and I just hate the actress character. I mean, the historical fiction chapters about Marion are a little bit better, but there's not much to do with flying airplanes. It's more about her relationships and like these various men in her life, and I do not care about that at all. I thought this was going to be about a strong woman learning to fly a plane in a time where women did not do that, and that is very much not what it is about. So I am honestly strongly considering DNFing this. So my next update will either be at the end of this book or starting a new book, so we'll see. Hey, so I am 50% of the way through with The Island of Missing Trees, and I really like it so far. I'm really glad, but it seemed like I wasn't really that into the other books as I was last year with the Women's Prize vlog, so I'm really glad. I really like The Island of Missing Trees so far. I really enjoy its subject matter. I had just learned about the whole Cyprus situation. I had never learned about it in school, and I had just watched a documentary about it, and so this is like really good timing. It feels like a really important book because I feel like there aren't a lot of books about it, and I really enjoy that there are chapters from the perspective of a fig tree. I think that is really cool. I really like the characters. It feels not pretentious like a lot of the other books have been. Yeah, so I really like it, and I'm about to go thrifting, so I'll try and film a little there, and if I find any good books, I'll show you in the next clip. So I am back. It's actually the day after I went to the thrift store, and I just got my hair cut, so I'm feeling good about that. And I have some things to show you from the thrift store first. So I got one book. I got Starfish by Akemi Dawn Bowman. I have never read any book by her, but I've really been wanting to. She's been on my radar for a really long time, and I've heard great things about this book, and it's such a beautiful cover too. And I really want to read this. I know it's supposed to be heavy hitting, so I'm looking forward to this. And then some things that I got that weren't from the thrift store. My friends that I went out with got me these earrings because I just got my ears pierced for the first time, and they're really cool swords with moons. They're really awesome. And the same friend got me this adorable husky squishmallow with hot chocolate. He's so cute. His name is Casimir, and I love him, and he goes very well with all of my other squishmallows. And in the mail today, I got this pin that I ordered from Alaman Ink on Etsy. I'll put their link to their shop down below. They have really, really nice stuff. This I bought because I have an idea for a new book about space whales. So I thought this was really, really cute. And it came with a free sticker that I put on my water bottle. And I also recently bought this sword sticker from Etsy as well, and I'll put the shop link in the description. Their name is Tea Weaver or something like that. Really, really cool sticker. So now for the final update on Island of Missing Trees. I am rating this 5 stars. It is so good. Really, really, really good. And from everything I've read so far in this vlog, I think that this should win. I don't know if I'll be right. I wasn't right last year by any means, and I'm still kind of annoyed about that. But anyway, I think that this should win. It is such a beautiful story. I loved all of the point of views that it has. It follows the daughter of these 2 people who are from the island of Cyprus. One of them is Greek and one of them is Turkish, and during history, there was a lot of conflict between those 2 populations and 2 sides of the island. And now this young girl who's like in middle school or high school lives with her dad in London, which also has something to do with the history of Cyprus. I just love this so much. It was such a great blend of history and kind of low fantasy-ish, because there are points of view chapters from a fig tree's point of view, and I just loved how you got perspectives from the people part of this conflict and also from the land, because a lot of this book talked about the hidden impact on animals and the land of human conflicts and war, which the book says, and I absolutely agree with, that we don't think about enough. So that was really interesting, like, ecological perspective on things, and I just loved this. It was so, so beautiful. The writing was gorgeous. The characters were all really, really good. I loved the growth that the main girl has as she learns about her past. It also deals a lot with generational trauma, which I found was really interesting, and after reading this, I absolutely want to read more on the subject. If there are any nonfiction books about the Cyprus conflict, I would really love to read about them, or fiction as well. So if anyone has any recommendations for that, please let me know, because I'm really interested in learning more about it. So now I'm going to start the Book of Form and Emptiness. Yeah, so I've never read a Ruth Ozeki before, so we'll see how I like it. Hello, so I'm here telling you that I finished the Book of Form and Emptiness, and I am kind of unsure what to rate it. For now, I'm rating it 3.5 because I didn't dislike it, but I didn't really like it. So it's kind of an average, but all in all, it was positive for me. I thought that all of the plot points were very complex but fit together really, really well, and it obviously deals a lot with grief, because the main point of the book is that the father of Benny, the main character, has died, and they are dealing with that. And I really think that the character of the mother was my favorite. Her storyline, she is struggling with her job and possibly losing her job, and also she's struggling with hoarding tendencies. And a really interesting part of this book is that there was not a parody, but a version of Marie Kondo's The Magic of Tidying Up book in there, and I thought that was really kind of funny, because I like that book, and I kind of went through the whole tidying thing, and so it was interesting to read a character doing that. I thought that the ending was really, really good. I really liked the ending, and I also really liked that a librarian and libraries had a big part in this book. I just applied for my library science degree, so I'm really excited to go into this field and become a librarian, and it was enjoyable to read about that. And the writing in this book was also really enjoyable. I don't remember exactly how it was worded, but there was a line in there that said something to the effect of, the books that you read are the co-parents of the books that you write, which the author is only the midwife of. And I just thought that was a really, really interesting analogy or like metaphor for that. So I definitely recommend this. Now that I'm talking about it, maybe I rated a 4 instead of a 3 or 3.5. I'm not sure. There were some parts that I didn't love, but it was just so complex, and it felt like a really good representation of what could happen to a small family with a single mom in poverty, basically. I really like this book. I'm not sure what I think about it being the winner or anything, but we shall see. Hello, so I'm here with an update. I finished reading The Sentence by Louise Erdrich, and it was really, really good. I am rating it 5 stars. It was extremely hard-hitting. I know I didn't do a 50% update for this, just had a lot of things going on, but the genre of the book is a little bit hard to pinpoint. It's kind of a contemporary fantasy. It follows a woman named Tuki. She's an Ojibwe woman, and at the beginning of the book, like the first chapter, she gets arrested for moving a dead body across state lines, and then things just kind of go from there. She begins working in a bookstore and is haunted by a dead woman named Flora. And the characters and relationships in between the characters in this book are wonderfully, wonderfully crafted. I love Tuki. She is a really strong character, and all of her family and relationships are really complex and interesting. There is a lot of hard stuff to read in here. It deals a lot with the beginning of the COVID-19 lockdown and also the killing of George Floyd. So it deals with riots and things like that. So it is kind of hard to read, especially because those events kind of are in really recent memory and kind of can reopen old wounds. So just be mindful of that if you're planning on reading it. But it was handled so well from a very personal standpoint, and I really love this book. I think it definitely deserves a place on this Women's Prize for Fiction list, and quite honestly, I kind of hope it wins. I know I loved Island for Mystic Trees, but I think this might be my winner. We'll see. Hello, so I just finished Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. There was no 50% update because this book is pretty short and I finished it fairly quickly. I read it on audio. There were parts of this book that I thought really did something, and parts of it that I was so bored out of my mind and I did not care at all. So I am rating this book 3.5, I think. Yeah, 3.5 sounds more like it. The main character was insufferable, but I think that was the point. The point of this book is that she is diagnosed with this illness, this mental illness that is not named in the book. And it's just her chronicles of her life and how this mental illness has kind of messed up her life and her relationships and how she deals with it. I really liked some of the characters. Like, I thought her relationship with her sister was really interesting. I just feel like this is kind of like, I don't know, this might sound really mean, but like if you're at a party and someone goes, oh, yeah, like I'm writing a novel, and you're like, oh, what's it about? And then they say like, oh, it's about this 40-year-old woman who, you know, doesn't have kids, but she wants them, and then like her husband and her have difficulties in their relationship, and it's about like her musings on life. And I don't know about you, but I would just be like, okay, and then just, I don't know, it sounds like it's been done over and over again. But I will say that this did have a very interesting take on mental health, and I really liked the characters of her parents as well. I thought that was really unique. Her mother was like kind of an antagonist character, but also very multifaceted. Her relationship with her daughter was very interesting, and it also tackles the issue of like having control over your life even if you are mentally ill, like, and having to take responsibility for your actions and not just blaming it on your mental illness. And it had a lot of really interesting substance in the conversation about mental illness, so I'm glad I read it. Like, it was definitely worth the read, but I probably would not have picked it up based on the synopsis if this wasn't part of the Women's Prize shortlist. I am a little surprised that it's on here. I don't think it's gonna win, but after I read the last book on this list, which is The Bread the Devil Need, I am going to give you like a rundown of my thoughts about all these books and then tell you my prediction for the winner. So stay tuned for that. Hello! So I'm here with the final update for this vlog. Wow, this has taken so long. I just finished The Bread the Devil Need, and it was really difficult to read. I did not enjoy the reading experience at all. I understand why it's on the list, and I get that the subject matter of the book is important, but it was not enjoyable to read at all. It follows a woman named Alethea, and she is living with this guy who is really abusive physically, and she is also having an affair with her boss. But she's a very independent, smart woman, makes her own money, things like that. This is all taking place in Trinidad. But she then meets her long-lost brother slash cousin, and he comes back, and like things about her family history really come to light. And it's a very, very disturbing book. There's murder, sexual assault, obviously physical and emotional abuse. So definitely be mindful of content warnings before you read this if you do. I did not enjoy it, but I do think there is definitely a reason why it was written. So I'm personally giving it a 2.5. Aside, I mean, at least I finished it. Like, I didn't DNF it, so that's good. But yeah, it was probably my least favorite book that I finished out of this short list. So let's do a quick recap of all 6 books. So I'm going from the one I liked least to the one I liked the most, which is my winner prediction. The one I liked the least was Great Circle because I could not finish it. I DNF'd it 50% of the way through. I was so disappointed in this because, like I said, this was already on my TBR even before it was nominated for the Women's Prize for Fiction. So really, really disappointed. However, it might honestly win. Like, I feel like I can't accurately predict because this was also on the Booker Prize list. I don't know why everyone likes this so much, but they do. I think I'm a bit of an outlier on this one. And then, like I said, we have The Bread the Devil Need, which I gave 2.5 stars, and you just heard my explanation for that. And then we have Meg Mason's Sorrow and Bliss, which I gave a 3.5. So all of them from here on out I thought were really good. This book I don't think will win, but I think it was definitely worth the read. I would not have picked it up. Like, it's not my type of genre if it wasn't on the women's list, but I'm really glad that I read it. Had a lot of good things to say about mental health. And then we have Ruth Ozeki's The Book of Form and Emptiness, which I surprisingly liked a lot. I think it was a little bit too long. It definitely could have been cut down. There were some scenes that I felt like were kind of gratuitous, but I think the concept was really interesting. Also had very interesting things to say about mental health and grief. And I honestly don't know. This is also a 3.5. I think this actually might have a good chance of winning. But my 2 favorites, which I both rated a 5. First, we have Elise Shafak's The Island of Missing Trees, which is such a beautiful historical fiction with a dual timeline and also a point of view chapters from a fig tree. I thought this was so atmospheric and really important, focusing on a conflict in history that we don't normally see books about, because after I read this, I looked up more books about the Cyprus conflict and could not find any. I really loved this. It was romantic and tragic and everything that you want in a good book. But then we have Louise Erdrich's The Sentence, which I loved. It definitely had some content warnings because it deals heavily with the start of the pandemic in 2020, so definitely think about it before you read it if that's gonna bother you. But it was amazing, just absolutely amazing writing, amazing characters. I wouldn't have picked it up if it wasn't on this list, but I'm so glad I did. And I am voting for this one to be the winner. I think it has really, really good potential. It has something for everyone because it's a contemporary, but it also has like fantastical elements in there with a ghost, and it also has a really strong female character at its center, and I think this has a lot of great potential to win. So that is my prediction for the winner. We'll see in, I think, July or the end of June if I'm right. So thank you so much for watching this vlog. I had a lot of fun reading for it, and let me know down in the comments what your prediction is for the winner of the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2022. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye!